If you listen to the right wing right now, Donald Trump is the best president to ever live, including Van Buren's glory days when he put a stop to the Aroostook War with Canada that consisted of throwing dirty beavers at each other from the banks of a frozen lake while wearing bunny hugs. Meanwhile, if you listen to the liberals across this country, Trump, with Elon Musk riding side saddle inside his codpiece, is the most horrific president since Hitler mated with Winston Churchill, producing a bastard child that was racist in 7 different ways. Whoa, that line pissed off everyone. Interesting. So should you hate most of what Trump is doing, even though there are exceptions like ending the proxy war in Ukraine? Probably yes. But here's the part that's going to blow liberals' minds worse than when Matt Lauer did the without permission. This will blow your mind. You fight back against Trump by fighting against more than Trump. If you fight back against just Trump, you achieve nothing. Where's the proof of that, you say? I'm getting to it. Keep your galoshes on, all right? But take your panties off and then stuff them inside your galoshes. It's time to get kinky. Let's go through some of Trump's worst actions so far. To begin with, his assault on immigrants. We've seen ICE raids increase across the nation. People who don't look the right color are being rounded up. Sorry, misread that. People who don't look the white color are being rounded up, including Native Americans. Question. To what home country are you planning to deport them? That's going to be a short flight, my friends. Probably just a bunch of necklace ICE agents standing around staring at a piece of paper going, where the hell is Turtle Island? Is that near Houston? Trump has put absolutely insane lunatics in to manage the persecution of immigrants, like naming Tom Homan, his former acting ICE director, as the administration's border czar, which is a conflicting message, border czar. Let's name the guy in charge of hating other countries after a Russian ruler. It's like if your vet's name were Dr. Foie Gras. Anyway, this Tom Homan argued that separating children from their caregivers would be an effective means of discouraging illegal border crossings. Wow, it's tough to come up with a sentence more putrid than that, unless you're a genius like Kanye West. Homan sounds like he has Caligula tattooed inside his eyelids so he can hang out with him in his dreams. So if you're furious about this and you fight your hardest to get rid of Donald Trump and you win, what will happen? Maybe we'll go back to the Biden years. Yes, when he deported more people than Trump did. Wait, no, that's bad. That's bad. Don't do that. Maybe we'll go all the way back to the Obama years. Those good days when he was known as the deporter-in-chief. Yeah, Obama's ICE agency was not the best. He appointed a man named Tom Homan as ICE's executive associate director. And you might think, well, much like the movie Mulholland Drive, Obama must not have known what Homan was really about. Yet by 2014, under the Obama administration, Homan had begun to argue that separating children from their caregivers would be an effective means of discouraging illegal border crossings. Oh, that was under Obama. Well, I bet Obama booted him to the curb. See ya later, Homan. Can't have that kind of racist shitheadery in our liberal wonder world. Well, actually, in 2015, President Obama gave Homan a Presidential Rank Award as a distinguished executive. Oh, it sounds like this horror show did not start with Donald Trump. It sounds like you fight back against Trump by fighting against more than Trump. Let's move on to Trump's racist rhetoric. He called some nations shithole countries. After the Charlottesville terror attack by a white supremacist that killed Heather Heyer, Trump said,
very fine people on both sides.
And in his second term, he seems to be replacing most anyone who's not a white man. And that's just the beginning. So we need to fight back against Trump for being racist. Okay, great. Get your banners and your bumper stickers out and let's do it. Anyone who has the misfortune of getting stopped behind my car at a red light is gonna get an education, my friends. If only more Gazans had those coexist bumper stickers, I doubt Israel would have dared mess with them. But again, if you just defeat Trumpism, then you'll put us back into a long list of racist presidents. Joe Biden pushed through the laughably racist crime bill in 1994. True love of the liberal world, Franklin Roosevelt, signed off on Japanese internment camps for anyone of, I'm going to say, Polish descent. Wait, Japanese descent. President Woodrow Wilson was a proud racist and even wrote a history textbook praising the Confederacy and, in particular, the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, in his defense, he was mainly praising how white they kept their hoods, even when eating barbecue. But if you think what Trump's doing to the federal government is bad, Woodrow Wilson resegregated it. He allowed his cabinet to resegregate the Treasury, the Post Office, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, used to be more important when there was engraving and printing, the Navy, the Interior, the Marine Hospital, the War Department, DOD, and the Government Printing Office. Did you hear what I said? Of course Wilson was racist. He segregated his interior. But it's really the actions, not the words, of the government that are the most racist. The genocide of the Native Americans, slavery, dropping the 2 atom bombs that needed to be dropped less than Drake's 21st album. The atom bombs were incredibly racist and only acceptable to most Americans because it was non-white innocent people murdered in the hundreds of thousands. Apparently Reagan demanded his staff go through the presidential M&Ms in the Oval Office and remove the brown ones. Arguably the most racist thing Donald Trump has done is publicly announce his plan to ethnically cleanse Gaza. He announced that because he views Palestinians as disposable. But Biden oversaw and facilitated that genocide for a year. Let's not argue who's racist and who's racish. They're all awful. So if you want to fight against Trump's racism, you have to fight against the system's racism. Here's another thing Trump has done.
Overnight, President Trump firing the nation's top military leadership in an unprecedented purge.
Yes, Trump fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and other military brass. If you're only fighting against Trump, then your response is, he's trying to get more control of the military. How dare he? But, of course, the president, whether you like it or not, is supposed to have control of the military. I would prefer Donnie Boy have control over nothing, including his bladder. But alas, that's how our so-called democracy works. Oh, that's right. He totally doesn't have control of his bladder. I forgot about that. Either way, if you're only protesting Trump, then your next response is we need to take to the streets and demand Air Force General C.Q. Brown Jr. return as head of the Joint Chiefs. But what does that really achieve? Every higher up at the Pentagon has been a bloodthirsty maniac since they were in diapers. Sorry, not sure how we got stuck on diapers. But seriously, the Pentagon's ruling class are all sociopaths. Do you think anyone else could get a top job overseeing the military? Do you think a dreadlocked yoga instructor was on the short list for that? Do you think an entrepreneur who sells intention water out of the back of their Mazda Miata almost got the gig as chairman of the Joint Chiefs? No! It's trained and eager killers and nothing else. You couldn't even get that job if you were just a reluctant killer. Just like, I guess I'll bomb children in Afghanistan. I mean, if I have time after I rip this bong. He's not getting the job. Getting angry about the head of the Joint Chiefs changes nothing. You have to replace the system, the military-industrial complex, which is $1 trillion a year death machine. You fight back against Trump by fighting against more than Trump. Let's do one more. Trump just recently ended accountability for federal law enforcement. It's unprecedented. Justice Department shuts down federal law enforcement misconduct tracker. Federal law enforcement includes everything from ICE to the Coast Guard to Homeland Security, the FBI, to the CIA, to the little-known Federal Glory Hole Investigation Unit, who make sure gas station glory holes maintain a certain level of glory. Anyway, getting rid of the federal misconduct tracker does sound really bad. It sounds worse than that time Jewel tried her hand at death metal. Trump has moved to stop tracking misconduct of law enforcement. And this is unprecedented since the misconduct tracker was first instituted over a year ago. A year ago? That's when dinosaurs roamed. And in this past year, has a lot changed in the misconduct of federal law enforcement? Have the Capitol Police stopped stomping on activists? Have ICE agents been helping migrants carry their groceries across the street? Has the CIA switched from training Nazis in the woods of Ukraine to potty training war orphans in Syria? I'm gonna wager not. It doesn't matter much if you track misconduct unless you do anything about it. I track my calories, but seeing as I do nothing with the information, I'm still on the cusp of having my first breast. For some reason, it's just the left one right now, but I'm thinking if I increase my chunky monkey intake, I might be symmetrical again by Easter. Point is, have the feds been on their best behavior because of this tracker? No! Most of the dystopian clown show that is these federal agencies does not include much accountability for misconduct to begin with. The tracker could only track things the agencies reported. And most of the time, they just ignore misconduct. Plus, the worst parts of their behavior is usually not considered misconduct. It's just considered conduct. 99% of the worst things the CIA does are their job. Kind of like John Cena. When the Capitol Police beat up an old woman for carrying a strongly worded sign, they view that as a job well done. Do I wish Trump had not shredded the misconduct tracker? Sure. Do I think it makes any more difference than Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets? No. You see, you have to fight the system of federal law enforcement, which has largely been unaccountable forever. You fight back against Trump by fighting against more than Trump.